You are listening to VILOS, and you are here because my gaming opinions are informed, logical, and maybe you'll like them and stay. If you don't, my bad. But they're my opinions, so you can right off. And I'm here to talk real quick about some 2021 Game of the Year candidates, so please let me know in the comments if you didn't catch the sarcasm in that intro. I'll start today's discussion with the games I've played recently that hit some marks that a Game of the Year traditionally succeeds at. Cyberpunk 2077 from CD Projekt Red, everybody knows about it. It may be infamous, but the depth of character and world building in the game is basically unmatched. The game released too close to the end of 2020 and with too much bad press to really qualify for last year. But I think with this year's updates and the PS5 Series X iterations, it might recover some of that critical success. My next choice is Haven from the Game Bakers. It's a very independent team of developers. They are somewhat known for the game Fury. They've pulled together high quality art with a unique, just right gameplay loop and a really engaging story that has created a nice little community, and I think it will gain some steam when award season comes. As for games that don't qualify, I would put definitely Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury on that list. That is basically a remaster with some additional content, and generally those kind of games don't get a whole lot of awards at the end of the year. Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. This one may get some nominations, but I think most media outlets would not let it qualify for Game of the Year discussion. But due to the massive update of voiceovers for the entire game, it might just be a big enough difference. We'll have to see on that, so don't quote me on that. But again, this is the first quarter of the year. There is a lot that will happen down the line. Also, the last on my don't qualify list is Diablo II Resurrected. That is another game that may have significant changes, but until it is released, there's no real way to tell for me right now. Then I have a list of big ifs. They have a variety of reasons why these games may not be in the Game of the Year conversation. Neon White, a game I am really looking forward to. It's from the creator of Donut County. It's a unique mashup of card battling with Shin Megami Tensei type storyline and characters with a Mirror's Edge kind of first-person parkour platforming style. It looks fantastic, but at this point in the year, it seems like it might not be hitting 2021. Also, I don't think Horizon Forbidden West is hitting 2021. That is a huge game that I think a lot of people will be disappointed by when they hear the news. But I just don't see it coming this year. Next up is Psychonauts 2. Tim Schafer says they refuse to crunch in order to launch this game, but he says they're also close enough to get it out this year. But I'll believe it when I see it. This game has been talked about since the first game released. I don't have a lot of faith there. Axiom Verge 2. Development has been around 2 years so far, but a reminder, it's still just one person, Thomas Happ, developing this game. Sadly, I don't think it hits in 2021. If it does, it probably won't be in time for the Game of the Year conversation. If we do get it in December or late November, it's probably going to be pushed to next year's awards. Also on the list is Hollow Knight Silksong. We just can't seem to get any consistent message from Team Cherry, the developers there. They haven't said a whole lot of anything since December, and it even still says to be announced on Steam as far as release date. Next on the list is Shin Megami Tensei 5. I feel like the remaster of the third game, it is coming to Switch in a couple months. I feel like that is a gift to fans for another inevitable delay. So yeah, I think 5 is coming early 2022 though. As for games that I haven't played or haven't released yet, but are likely in this conversation, Valheim. I think the only thing stopping Valheim from potentially being in the Game of the Year awards mentions is it being in early access. If it happens to be mentioned for it and still is in early access at the end of the year, I would be very surprised. Something like Hades that just officially released last year and got a lot of Game of the Year awards. It has been in early access for quite a long time before 2020. So I think that we'll see that Valheim, if it escapes early access, it will likely be in the Game of the Year conversation. Genesis Noir, which comes out on March 26th, very soon, I think is one of the most original ideas and one of the most original visual spectacles I've seen in quite a long time in games. I think it looks fantastic. It's going to be a part of Game Pass right off the bat. I think this game is unique enough to be in nominations for plenty of things, but I also think it stands out so much that it will have to be in the Game of the Year award conversation. Nier Replicant. It comes out on April 23rd, and this is a remake that's hoping to grab some of the critical acclaim that Nier Automata received, and honestly, I feel like it would take a lot for this game to fail critically or financially. It looks to be very close to an Automata clone, and that is perfect. That's all we really need. It does happen to be a prequel of sorts and expands upon a lore and a fandom that is really, really deep. So I feel like it's going to hit all the right marks. Returnal comes out on April 30th. And I will say that media outlets love themselves some roguelikes, and this third-person sci-fi mystery turn on the genre looks extremely promising. It looks to be a really great time, and just giving that extra roguelike turn may give it the edge it needs to make a niche in the Game of the Year conversation. Now, Deathloop comes out on May 21st. A lot of people are into this game and the idea of it, but I'm just not. This hero shooter with excess style doesn't hit the mark for me, but if it delivers on half of its promise, I'm sure there will be plenty of award mentions. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart comes out on June 11th, and it's rare that a platformer gets into the Game of the Year conversation, but I think the universe hopping mechanic, if done right, will get this franchise back into the spotlight, and I generally think people are really ready for it to be back. Scarlet Nexus comes out on June 25th, and there's always an anime-inspired action-adventure that gets into the Game of the Year conversation, it seems like, and if it's not overshadowed by Nier Replicant, I think Scarlet Nexus really has a chance. And to be honest, I don't think that an anime would have been created for that game if it was lackluster. The big one, of course, Halo Infinite. 343 may get a lot of criticism, but if you don't think they've worked their asses off to make this game the pinnacle of Halo experiences, you're not paying attention. I definitely look for a Halo resurgence with Infinite later this year. Now, Kena Bridge of Spirits comes out on August 24th, and everyone has seen the breathtaking animation and the art design of this game, which will definitely get it some award nominations. But if the gameplay is smooth and feels like maybe more than a Breath of the Wild clone, I think this has a shot. Life is Strange True Colors comes out on September 10th. And while the Don't Nod style of games hasn't really been talked about so much in recent years, despite Tell Me Why getting some love last year, the recent Square Enix Presents reminded a lot of people that the franchise is still kicking around some great ideas, and it's pulling the heartstrings of all types of gamers. So I think with that extra boost in media presence, I think Life is Strange comes back to the forefront of award season. Solar Ash from Heart Machine, the creators of Hyper Light Drifter, is another action platformer with incredible artwork that appears to have really satisfying traversal gameplay, and another one of Disaster Piece's scores. And I think that this makes it the total package. This is one of those games that is Game of the Year contender from day one. We also have a couple indies here. Where the Heart Leads comes out on July 13th. It's from the developers of Recore, which I personally loved. Not a lot of people were fans of Recore, but hey. It's a surreal narrative adventure, as they say. It feels like a mix between Oxenfree and What Remains of Edith Finch. And I think it hits the right emotional beats for the indie scene to really kick up some dirt when it comes to nominations. Maybe not Game of the Year, but I think it will be very close to that conversation. We also have 12 Minutes, which is an interactive thriller with a killer lineup of voice talent. This is an indie published by Annapurna Interactive, who knows how to make award-winning games and publish them, that is. I think they're taking the very popular idea of time loops to a highly cinematic production level that just really looks like a good time. I don't think they can miss. Now, again, this is the first quarter of 2021, so a lot of things may change. I think there is a vast variety in the games that may be nominated this year for Game of the Year, and a game like Cyberpunk is not necessarily a shoo-in. If you have some thoughts on what might come of the 2021 Game of the Year, please let me know down in the comments below. If you disagree with any of my opinions here, please tell me. Tell me how wrong I am. And at the end of the day, there's a lot that makes a Game of the Year worthy, but I feel like we have such talent in the industry right now and so many opportunities for indie developers to come up. I believe that this year may be the most diverse cast of Game of the Year contenders, with a whole lot of potential genres and some really great, unique ideas. Gaming is better than ever, and I cannot wait for awards season. We'll probably take a look back in a couple more months to see if anything's changed. Thank you for listening.